This is a war on the old landlord system. This is not a video. This is not content. This is a declaration. What you're about to hear marks the end of something. For centuries, landlord ownership meant power, not leadership, power. It decided who stayed, who left, who survived, and who didn't. Kings knew it, lords enforced it, and when those titles disappeared, the power didn't. It just went quiet. Today we call it property ownership. We call it landlording. We pretend it's neutral. It isn't. It's the last major system still operating on inherited authority without modern accountability, training, or leadership. And that system is collapsing in real time. Here's the truth nobody in real estate wants to say out loud. The old landlord model no longer works. Not morally, not psychologically, not economically. And pretending otherwise is why the industry is bleeding. Evictions are up, disputes are up, court dockets are clogged, landlords are burning out faster than they're scaling. Not because tenants are worse, not because the markets are unfair, because the system was never rebuilt for the world we're living in now. Let me be precise. Ownership without leadership has become liability. Control without structure has become chaos, and landlords were never trained for power they already held. That's not an opinion, that's design flaw. This is where the line gets drawn. The era of reactionary landlords is over. The era that this is just how it is over. The era of hiding behind leases, courts, and policies is over. That model had its time and it is past. From this moment forward, there are only two kinds of landlords. Those who understand that housing is power and train themselves to lead responsibly, and those who keep operating inside a system that already is failing until it takes them with it. There's no middle ground anymore. This is a war on inherited behavior, on outdated authority, on a system that refuses to evolve while demanding obedience from everyone trapped within it. And whether you're ready or not, this war has already started. The old system didn't fail overnight. It failed quietly. One eviction at a time. One burned out landlord at a time. One tenant who stopped caring because nobody ever taught them how to participate in stability. This wasn't chaos. This was design. Here's the part most people don't understand. Every system is perfectly designed to produce the results it gets. So when the same problems keep repeating, it's not luck, it's not bad tenants, it's not even bad landlords. It's a bad model still being treated like law. The old landlord system was built for control, not cooperation. It assumed compliance instead of communication, enforcement instead of leadership, consequences instead of clarity. That worked when people had no voice, no opinion, and no leverage. That world is gone. Today's tenants aren't peasants. They're informed. They're connected. They compare experiences in real time. And when you apply a control-based system to a modern human environment, you don't get order, you get resistance. The resistance shows up as late rents, poor communication, passive defiance, escalation, legal action. Then the system tells landlords, push harder, raise rents, tighten rules, scream more aggressively, as if pressure fixes behavior. It doesn't. It manipulates it. Let's say the quiet part out loud. Landlords were never trained for the role they actually play. They were trained to own assets, not lead people within systems. And when leadership is missing, power turns into friction. Not because landlords are bad people, because power without structure always leaks. Housing isn't neutral. It shapes sleep, stress, family stability, work preference, performance, mental health. When you control housing, you influence all of that. That's not politics, that's reality. And reality demands responsibility. The old system never taught landlords how to carry that responsibility. So landlords learn through pain, trial and error, court filings, burnout. And then they taught the next landlord the same broken habits. That's how systems survive long after they stop working. This is why the industry feels stuck. Everyone's busy, everyone's reacting, nobody's leading. Landlords feel disrespected, tenants feel unheard, and both sides feel trapped inside a system that keeps failing them. Here's what never made sense. Other industries evolved. Management evolved. Leadership evolved. Psychology evolved. Training evolved. But housing stayed frozen in a framework built centuries ago, then wrapped in modern paperwork and called professional. That's not modernization. That's denial. And denial always ends the same way. More rules, more conflict, more courts, more exits. Landlords don't scale out of this system. They burn out of it. This is why this manifesto exists. Not to attack landlords, to tell them the truth. You didn't fail the system. The system failed you. It asks you to carry power without giving you training, structure, or language for it. And now it's collapsing under its own weight. So let's be clear about what happens next. The old landlord model doesn't get patched up. It gets replaced, not with chaos, with structure, not with leniency, with leadership, not with hope, with a system that actually accounts for human behavior. The future of housing doesn't belong to the most aggressive landlords. It belongs to the most prepared ones, the ones who understand leadership reduces conflict, structure creates stability, training protects assets better than force ever did. Those landlords don't fight fires, they prevent them. This is the dividing line. One side, reaction, burnout, endless friction. On the other side, stability, predictability, control through leadership, not fear. Every landlord will end on one side or the other. No one stays neutral. This manifesto isn't asking for agreement. It's announcing reality. The old system is ending. The new era is already forming. And the landlords who understand this early won't just survive it, they'll define it. This wasn't said to start a conversation. It was said to mark an ending. The old landlord system already lost. Most people just haven't accepted it yet. What's coming next won't ask for permission. It won't wait for consensus. It won't slow down for comfort. It will replace what no longer works because that's what reality does. This moment doesn't belong to everyone. It belongs to the ones who recognize collapse before it becomes obvious. The ones who understand that leadership shows up long before applause ever does. Nothing said here needs defending. Systems either work or they get replaced. And this one is already being replaced. You'll see it in how housing is run, in who lasts, who burns out, and who keeps control and who keeps reacting. Those outcomes are already locked in. This wasn't a warning, it was a record.